Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That's so weird. It said my mic was running and it wasn't muted, and all I did was unplug it and plug it back in, and it came out. But thank you for telling me. I greatly appreciate that. I could have gone quite a while only just looking at the mute button, whether it be on or off. Very odd, yes. Sometimes, you know how Windows is. It'll switch your output device depending on what you're doing. But yeah, we just saw that game number 1 went to Pili Pili in a pretty convincing fashion. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and putting up with the no mic for the game 1. But game number 2 and the rest of this broadcast, we shouldn't have any other issues. Yeah, it happens. Thank you for being so patient. I am not getting paid to do this. I am doing this out of my own generosity to the scene. Plus, I like StarCraft. So, over on the right side, which you guys probably didn't hear because my mic was muted, we had Pili Pili versus Warren. That's match number 1 today. Then we have Simper versus Dolan, and then we have Vindicta versus Zero. And if you have not, please reach out. Oh, that would be great, man. I haven't even hit 50 followers yet to even get the ability to run ads. I am so new to this. I've only been doing it for about 2 months. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. All 7 of you. I am Morvox. I do cast for Alpha X, so I do have some, experience when it comes to, StarCraft. I am on a well-dignified team. If anyone knows Zown or watches DreamHack or is a classic fan, but it looks like we're back up. Good to go. We're going to go ahead and jump into game number 2. It's going to be on Romanticide. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Thanks, Haas, for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. Up here in the top left, playing for Good Game Gaming, it's Pili Pili. Thank you again for the follow, Haas00312. Down here in the bottom right, we have the Teal Zerg. It's Warren. So, what a game number 1. Immediately starting the game off with a Cannon Rush versus a Hatch Block. Fortunately, my mic was having some issues, so. And it looks like we got some bots in the chat, so. Pretty disappointing. I'm guessing both Hosses are bots. So far, nothing outrageous or overly aggressive from either player. Looks like we got a Nexus first out of Pili Pili. Meanwhile, on the other side, Warren looks like he's going to go... I think he went 14 pool. And all the drones are being pulled? Okay, so we got a... Looks like a very massive all-in here coming out on game number 2. Warren's pulling, I guess you would call the creepy boys, because he's pulling all the drones here with these lings, and he's going to come on to Pili Pili here. How many lings are we talking about? 10 lings, 2 more on the way. It's going to put Pili Pili in a very interesting spot, as in he may just die here. Warren brings these lings in, and he's going to go immediately for the pylon, and it's going to go down. Which is going to stop this zealot from being chrono boosted. And he's going to pull in these Zerglings and these drones. He's going to go into the main base. And now we're getting worker on worker action here. GG. What a weird game number 2. Warren does tie it up, though. 1 apiece. So 1-1. Completely outrageous game there. I like to make a couple little notes here about what build orders they're using, etc. First, for my personal notes, so give me 1 second. All right, and let's see. Game number 3 is going to be on Lightshade. And already we've had cheese in both game 1 and game number 2. So game number 3 is going to be on Lightshade. And I don't see any reason to delay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, down here in the bottom right, it's our blue Protoss friend playing for Good Game Gaming. It's Peely Peely. And the teal Zerg taking up the top left-hand space. It is Warren. So cheeses in both game 1 and game 2 so far. So pretty nuts if you ask me. Now it looks like we may see a normal game here in game number 3. Really expecting a little bit more banter between these players, considering they both literally cheesed each other in the last 2 games. And it looks like here we're going to see a hatch first out of Warren. Peely Peely is going 1 gate expand. So this is going to be a pretty standard game here out of both players. Peely Peely's going to get inside the main base of Warren. He's going to see, hey, there's no spawning pool here. He's going to know he's going to be fine to pretty much do whatever he needs to do as far as his build. He's going to make this probe be a little bit annoying. Warren wraps around the probe. Ow! And takes it out. Wow, that was actually pretty impressive there from Warren. Very fast takedown of that probe. Isn't going to really change the dynamic of this game, but it's definitely going to put Peely Peely on the back foot. Meanwhile, Warren's going to send his drone in. And he's going to see the double gas here out of Peely Peely. Looks like there was a pause because pizza was acquired. Really not much else going on at the moment. There is an adept being chronoed here. So Peely Peely's going to be able to get across the map with this adept and see what he can find out and maybe try to take down a pesky drone or 2. Meanwhile, on the other side, Warren is getting his 2 queens. You know, he's doing the Zerg thing. He's taking his 3rd base, so good on Warren there. 2.5 minute 3rd base out of Warren. Stargate on the way for Peely Peely. So Peely Peely's mostly going to open with an Oracle and then mostly follow it up with a Void Ray. Such is the standard PVZ. He may decide to go double Oracle. I have seen that a few times. If you guys are watching DreamHack, please continue to watch DreamHack and support the players and the casters and the event organizers, as that is the flavor of the day. Actually, it's the flavor of the week. DreamHack's been going on all week. These 2 adepts from Peely Peely, though, they're going to get up here and shade into either the main. I'm thinking they're going to go into the main. There are some lings here. But Peely Peely's just going to ignore them for now. Gets into the mains. Takes down a drone pretty much instantly. 2 drones go down. 3rd drone goes down. The queen is putting nice damage down onto these adepts. He's going to need to shade out of there, though. He loses 1 adept. You don't want to lose your adepts this early in the game. Meanwhile, Zergling speed is about 90% done here. I feel like Peely Peely could have been a little bit more conservative with his adept play there. Losing both of the adepts pretty much right off the bat, even without Ling speed currently on the map. Meaning there's not really much to catch your adepts at the moment. So he easily could have shaded out of there. Instead, he let them go down. Brings back the issue of when he lost that initial probe in the beginning of the game. Did that kind of tilt him a little bit? Drones are being sent over here to this third base. And it looks like we're going to see double Stargate here out of Pili Pili. So pretty much just like the previous game, I'm sorry, game number 1, Pili Pili is going to do a Sky Toss style tech switch here. Well, he never really went ground unit, so I'm guessing just going straight to Sky Toss. He did get a quick +1 air in game number 1, so he hasn't decided to go for that just yet. 42 workers to 38 in Pili Pili's favor, so if he can get some damage here, it's going to really put him in a good spot. 3 queens here for the defense. 2 Void Rays are going to get away. Or will they? Yep, he gets those Void Rays out of there. Very nice defense, though, out of Warren. Void Rays pretty much did nothing. They flew in, they saw the queens, they were in the right position. And then down came the defense. Warren is being very active here with these queens. He wants to make sure that the Void Rays can't come around the side like they did in game number 1 when he came in and sniped the natural. So Pili Pili is going to try something like that now, but I feel like Warren this time is going to be prepared for it. He does have a pretty high queen count, sitting at 8 queens now. Only 1 queen, though, here for the defense. Spore immediately goes down. And so far, the game is looking heavily in Pili Pili's favor right now, considering he just now got a third up. Only reason being that, Void Rays are a good unit. Warren is going to try to take down a couple of these Void Rays, and if Pili Pili's not babysitting them, he may lose one. Nice defense there from Warren. Sees the Void Rays are just kind of camping there. Meanwhile, on this right side, the Shades, they're coming into the third base. Nice on Warren, though, to pull all of his drones. And the Void Rays are just kind of camping over here while these Adepts go to town on this hatchery. Looks like more Shades are coming into the natural from Pili Pili. And there's a massive amount of queens there. Immediately start taking down the Adepts. All the Adepts go down. Putting Pili Pili in a position now where, all he's got right now on the field are these Void Rays. Roaches looks like we are going to see a Roach counterattack here out of Warren. More and more Void Rays on the way for Pili Pili. And it looks like he's going to recall. He does see this move out here from Warren. Warren decides to move back, though, and wait for the queens. Where did those units... The units did get... Looks like they got recalled here to the natural expansion, so all the Void Rays are in position for this attack. And lots of Ravagers are on the way. 8 Ravagers are coming in. And it's getting to a point now where I think Warren may just run over Pili Pili. Did Pili Pili get a little too greedy here with this third base? Not having really much anything on the ground and being very, very liberal with his unit control. And the shield batteries start going down, and Warren is about to lay waste to this third base. He's coming in, and he's focusing down. He looks like he takes down the shield batteries pretty much immediately. Cannons are going down behind them. There is one battery that's being... It's like we got a super battery in the third, in the mineral line, and it's going to force Warren to back up a little bit. But I'm pretty sure that third is going to fall. Void Rays may be thinking about a counterattack. Meanwhile, this third is going down. Void Ray counterattack is going across the map. 10 Void Rays. I don't think there's any other Void Rays in any... There's 1 Void Ray in his natural, so 9 Void Rays now are headed for the counterattack. Is there enough here from Pili Pili to defend this? Roaches are coming into the natural now. Meanwhile, the Void Rays have taken down the third of Warren, and they're coming up in here to the main, and they're going to target down. This lair is going to go down. Meanwhile, a DT warp in, along with some Adepts and a Zealot, taking out quite a few queens, actually. Kind of forcing this attack back for the moment. Meanwhile, absolute chaos here in the main of Warren. Void Rays targeted down the lair and are going to take down almost every Overlord. It's not looking good for Warren, folks. If you're a Warren fan, unfortunately, it's not looking good for him right now. Spawning pool's going to go down, so Warren's going to have to rebuild that. And it looks like... Where's his Roach Warren? Did his Roach Warren go down? I think also his Roach Warren went down. Nope, here it is right here behind the... So he can't build Roaches, but he can't build Lings. Meanwhile, more and more DTs are coming in here. They get taken down by the Broodlings, but at this point, at what cost? Things have spiraled so far out of control here for Warren. GG. And Pili Pili takes game number 3. So there you have it. Game number 3 goes to Pili Pili. It is now 2-1 in Pili Pili's favor. Map number 4 will be on Blackburn. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I am Morvox, caster for Alpha X, and today we're casting the playoffs for the Code S round of 8. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, give a follow. That's all I ask, just to follow. So at least you guys can stay up to date on the tournaments and what I have going on. There's definitely a lot more StarCraft in my future to be casted. And I'm going to go ahead and get game number 4 started so that we can go and wrap up the first match of the night. Game number 4, Pili Pili versus Warren on Blackburn. Let's jump into it. So down here in the bottom right, our blue Protoss playing for Good Game Gaming. It's Pili Pili. And down here in the bottom left, it's our Teal Zerg. Not going hatch first in this game. It's Warren. So Pili Pili's now in a position where if he wins this final game, he is moving on into the semifinals. And Warren's going to need to figure out what he's going to do to swing this series back into his favor. Looks like we got a 1-gate expansion here at a Pili Pili. Spawning pool just finished up here for Warren. And I have to agree with Skater. I've seen a lot of Sky Toss nowadays. If you guys are watching DreamHack, you probably noticed that almost every Protoss now goes Sky Toss against Zerg. But I don't think that's what we're going to see this game. I think we're going to see a 2-gate opener here at a Pili Pili. And it's going to be up to Warren to figure out how he wants to defend this, because there is going to be some aggression. Quite a few Adepts are going to be coming out here for Pili Pili here. Warren is sending a couple Lings across the map, so he will get a peek at what Pili Pili is up to. Meanwhile, Rogue Probe here is coming up from the north. He's going to get into the natural. He's going to see the timing on the hatchery. And he knows instantly he's not going to die to a Ling Flood. So in come the Lings. They actually get around the Zealot. The wall was not complete. Pili Pili does block off. He does block off the wall with this gateway, so at the moment he's got 3 gates. They're going to be in use here momentarily. Adepts on the way for Pili Pili. And I really would like it if Warren would not do what he just did and keep that Ling on that probe, and he actually let the probe get away. Well, now the probe can go and build whatever he wants on the map. He's most likely going to build something over here on the top of the natural bottom of the 3rd expansion here for Warren. These lings here are going to catch this probe. Hey, you dirty probe. Die. Probe goes down. Nice on Warren, though. Be vigilant and make sure that he catches that probe before things spiral out of control. 2 adepts here are on the way. And it's most likely going to shade here into the natural or the main. Meanwhile, it looks like we only got 4 lings on the field for Warren, so not much of a defense here. He may have to depend on the backbone of these queens to defend this. And this time, Pili Pili needs to not lose his adepts. He needs to make sure he kills a few drones and he gets out of there. Nope, gets completely surrounded. Loses both adepts. And once again, Warren sitting in a great position. This base has not even started mining yet, so I feel like Warren can pretty much just, he do what he needs to do. Go forward with his plan. But Pili Pili's got something to say about that. There's a proxy pylon coming up here next to the gold base. We're most likely going to see, I'm thinking we're going to see a forward gateway possibly, or maybe a Stargate. Really depending on how Pili Pili feels about this. There is a Roach Warren on the way. It's about 30% complete, along with its counter building on the Protoss side, the Robo. If Pili Pili decides to get Immortals here, it may put Warren in a position where his... Oh! He did find this pylon! These lings are going to focus down this pylon. And I don't think there's going to be much as far as forward attacking until the Warp Prism comes out on the Robo. So good on Warren there, catching that pylon and taking that out. Adepts, though, are going to jump on top of these Zerglings. And now we're looking at literally, there's nothing on the field for Warren. 1 Zergling, 4 queens, that is it. Meanwhile, 3 sentries just got warped in by Pili Pili. And this feels like a Warp Prism attack where you block the ramp with the sentries and you warp in the Zealots and the Adepts and you just go to town. So he's actually getting a Robo Bay. He may just decide to get maybe speed or maybe get disruptors. We'll have to wait and see here as soon as this Robo Bay is complete. Zergling speed is started eventually now for Warren. Lucina Phoenix will get in here and pretty much see everything. And he sees the timing on the 3rd. And we're pretty much just waiting for this Warp Prism here to finish up so they can see what Pili Pili's plan is here. He may decide and wait for a Disruptor because his Robo Bay is about to complete. More and more sentries are getting warped in, and I'm thinking that he's not going to go Disruptor drops. There's just too many sentries here. There is a Disruptor on the way with Warp Prism speed, so very interesting. I may have called it and just doubted myself here, thinking that he would go for a Disruptor drop behind this. Meanwhile, 3 more gates are being thrown down, and ooh, I like this out of Warren. Warren has decided to throw down the Spire here. So, as of the moment, let's take a look here. What does Warren have? 3 gateways here. Robo Bay. More gateways. Robo. No Stargate. So, this is an excellent choice here out of Warren. It is a great choice considering Pili Pili has this Warp Prism on the map. If he can catch that with his Mutalisks, lights out for Pili Pili. Pili Pili is going to try to drop this Disruptor here and blow up a few roaches. Woo! Very juicy hit there out of Pili Pili. Very nicely done. He's going to get out scot-free. Warren is going to spot the Warp Prism, though, with this Zealot. So he knows the Warp Prism is getting out of dodge, at least for the moment. And we're going to see more and more Disruptor drops as this continues. I'm not sure if that's worth it, but he drops a double Disruptor there and takes out 1 queen. Meanwhile, 6 Mutalisks are on the way for Warren. And Pili Pili's still building sentries. And it looks like he's moving out here. It looks like he's going to try to hit the 3rd base. Which I think simultaneously, these Mutalisks, when they pop, I think they're going to be going for a beeline immediately for Pili Pili. Wherever he happens to be at that moment. And here's the Warp Prism. And he actually recalls it out of there. So nice play out of Pili Pili. Pili Pili is going to bring these Stalkers and Adepts in with these Sentries. He's going to use the Sentries for Guardian Shield. War Prism is coming back across the map. There is a Colossus here. So Pili Pili is definitely coming in with a 2-base Colossus all in, with a Disruptor drop as the backbone of this army. Nice play there out of Warren, preventing the Disruptors from getting in the natural. But I just don't think Warren's going to be able to hold this. In come the Disruptors. In come the Colossus Stalker. And I think this is GG. Nice hit there on the Queen and drones. Takes out quite a lot of Warren's supply. Dropping now. 110 supply to 121. Pili Pili's going to keep forcing the hand here. Takes out another Queen. And Pili Pili is definitely going to be ending this here momentarily. I don't think Warren is going to be able to hold. They're doing a great micro battle. Warren is, at least, trying to delay the inevitable here. And we do have 3 Mutalisks kind of sitting over here on the right side, not really doing anything. But there are so many Stalkers on the field. Nice force fields come down. It's going to allow Pili Pili to get in here and focus down these Queens. More drones are going down. So many drones have gone down this game. 19 drones total so far. And Pili Pili's not stopping with the pressure. He's still building more Stalkers. He's got another Colossus on the way. Hydralisks are on the way for Warren, but I just think it's a little, too late. Nice force field there. Prevents the Roaches from getting on top of the army. Only a couple really remain. And this is the death blow here. Pili Pili's going to come in. And as soon as this hatch goes down and the rest of these drones, Warren will be calling GG. Nice force field on the ramp there. Prevents 2 Roaches from getting down. And Warren calls it GG. Pili Pili takes the series 3-1. So nice there out of Pili Pili. Pretty much doing a 2-base Colossus all-in with Disruptor drops. Takes out Warren. Clinches his spot in Code S. And let's take a look at what match number 2 has in store for us. We have Semper versus Dolan. And it looks like the first map is going to be Oxide. And to answer your question, Skater, these are from replays, but these are very, very recent. Like, I just got these replays this morning. So, the finals for Code A will be live, along with the finals for Code S. It will also be live. So, definitely going to be a great set of games. Tomorrow for the Code A finals, I'm going to have a guest caster on. So definitely come and check that out. Follow if you guys haven't already. I am Morbox. And I'm going to go ahead and get us into Semper versus Dolan, game number 1 on Oxide. Terran lovers, rejoice! For it is the evening of TVT. And down in the bottom left, we have our purple Terran. It's Semper. And in the top right, we have our red Terran. I've casted him before. You guys have seen it. If not, go check out those VODs. It's Dolan. So TBT here for match number 2. Semper versus Dolan in a best of 5. Most likely going to see some epic tank versus tank battles here between these two titans. And I'm not sure if this is a Macarax or if this is going to be more aggressive. He may just decide to keep the barracks over here to kind of keep Semper in the dark. Because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that it's a Macarax. It feels like a Macarax. It doesn't feel like a proxy. It's too far away. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Semper is going for, it looks like, barracks into double gas. So, very interesting to see that Dolan has already decided to deviate from the norm here. Reaper on the way for Dolan. Dolan's SCV is going to get in, poke and take a look. What do you have? He sees the barracks, but he does not see the timing on the second barracks, so I feel like if Dolan just hanged around a minute, he can definitely see what Semper is up to. Looks like Reapers from both sides. Factory is going down for both players. And I agree, Skater. We may end up seeing another... Let's see how many. We only have one rack so far here from Dolan. His only racks is his forward racks here. Meanwhile, on the other side... Well, let's take a look at this Reaper versus Reaper battle over here. So exciting, right? Dolan is running away, though. He hides his Reaper in the tall grass. And it looks like we're going to see Hellions here at a Semper. On the other side, I'm thinking we're also going to see some Hellions here momentarily. We do see a tech lab, so if I could speak. Very interesting if Dolan decides to go Cyclones instead. Considering he's going for the tech lab. Yep, Cyclone. And both players are actually going Cyclones here. So, no Hellions for Semper. He is also going Cyclones. He's getting his natural expansion. On the other side, Dolan is also getting his other expansion. Meanwhile, Dolan jumped in here with a few Reapers to go down. So nice defense so far from Semper. Semper's got to get a full scout of the base. Sees the timing on the starport. So good job on Semper there to get a very nice scout. Does lose his Reaper, so unfortunately loses a little bit of map vision. But I honestly think it may be worth it in that point. In TVT, where it's a mirror match, everything you do is pretty much, when you're in this high a level, the builds are pretty much going to line up exactly. Minus, little deviances here and there. So, what's Dolan going to do here? What's his plan? He's going tanks. So, very interesting already. We're not seeing tanks out of Semper just yet. He is continuing to go Cyclones. And it looks like Dolan's just going to keep this Reaper and Cyclone out front to watch for our move out. Or maybe just to see if he could poke in. And Semper is starting the Air Force a lot sooner than Dolan is. And we all know that in TVT, having a superior Air Force is very important, especially in tank versus tank battles. Dolan is getting his Raven a little bit faster, so I do like that from Dolan. He is going to need to get up some more Vikings, though. So it looks like we're going to have a tank versus tank battle here out of both players. And then we'll have to figure out what each player wants to end the game with, what their late game plan is here. Let's take a look at what they have. 4 Marines against 6 Marines. 1 tank to 1 tank. 2 Cyclones in favor of Semper. 2 Vikings also in favor of Semper. So Semper with a little bit of a army lead. This down here does look even, but as far as composition goes, Semper is ahead. With the high-valued tech units that, you'd want to have as a Terran. Nice scan comes out from Semper. Sees the timing on the 3rd CC. Second Raven on the way for Dolan. More Vikings are getting sent out here from Semper. So, how many Vikings do we have so far? 4 Vikings from Semper. So, and it looks like Semper's actually going to move out here onto the map. There is really good tank positioning here from Dolan. With a Raven there to spot. 4 Marines over here to stop maybe a drop or a Reaper from coming around the side and jumping into his natural or his main. But it looks like we're going to see a little bit of engagement here. Vikings immediately are going to come in, almost take down one of the Ravens. So like I was saying, having that air superiority for Simper is definitely putting him in a position where he's already taking an advantageous position in this fight. Dolan is going to come down the map here with all these tanks. There are Marines and Cyclones there to greet him. Both Ravens go down from Dolan, so pretty crazy there. One tank does go down. Marines come up here on top of Simper's units, take down both tanks. Barely. One tank survives. Meanwhile, Dolan is having, he's putting his tanks up here on the high ground. He is having a good time defending this. And I feel like Simper may have thrown away just a tad too much there. He kind of got caught with his pants down a little bit. He did take out both Ravens, so that is the one positive from that, out of that engagement there from Simper. And the tank counts have been reset. We're now sitting at 2 tanks apiece, so good on Dolan for making sure he doesn't die to that attack. He definitely came out and boxed it in there in the corner, taking it out pretty much every tank except one, severely weakening the last tank, and now he's expanding to his third. So I really like the position here of Simper in this game. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you are just now tuning in, this is the Code S Round of 8 for NA Apprentice Season 4. And in this match, we have a TVT, Simper versus Dolan. Right now, no upgrades out of either player, which is actually very surprising. Upgrades are on the way. And we're looking at 3 tanks to 4, so very slight tank lead here for Dolan, which I don't think is going to last much longer because Simper is moving out. And Dolan is just now coming out to take his third. Meanwhile, Simper has been mining from his for quite a while, mules and all. So he's going to siege up these tanks and fire these Vikings in here. He does have one Liberator to zone out. And I think this is it. I don't think Dolan's going to be able to hold this. Yeah, he may have a couple more siege tanks. Where did Simper's Air Force go? I think pretty much from everything from Simper just got wiped out there. Oh no, he flied his Vikings into the main, which is a very strange decision. Lands them in the main, takes down 12 SCVs. Interesting play there from Simper deciding to trade out his Vikings, though, for the SCVs. And we find us once again in a very strange position here in this TVT, considering Simper pretty much just threw away everything. Landed his Vikings in the main to try to get some damage done. Yeah, he got some SCVs. That's really good on him. I mean, it will allow him to make his army just that much bigger. 4 CC is going down for Simper. Armory on the way. More and more tanks being sent out here. 2 tanks to 3 tanks, so still sitting at about an even tank count here. We're also on even on upgrades, 1-1 apiece. And now we're seeing the Air Force superiority swing heavily in Dolan's favor. Considering Simper threw away all his Vikings in the last engagement, Dolan is sitting on a heavy Viking lead here. Looks like we got +2 infantry weapons on the way for Simper. +2 is not even on the mind of Dolan yet. I think Dolan really thinks he's further behind than he is. He's only just a tiny bit behind. His command center was down about a minute later. I mean, it's not the end of the world for Dolan, so he's definitely not out of this game yet. One bad engagement, and it could swing the game heavily in either's favor. 70 workers to 62 in Simper's favor at the moment. And Simper's getting ready to take his 4th expansion. Dolan is moving out with these Marines and tanks. And yes, if you'd like, please check out Matcherino if you guys want to add to the prize pool. It's always greatly appreciated. Dolan is coming in here and he's going to siege up these siege tanks. Quite a few Marines. Still sitting on a hefty Viking count lead, 14-10. Simper is prepared. He is sieging up his tanks in a really good position. One Marine gets blasted to infinity. Lots of red streaming across the map for Dolan. Here come the Vikings. Immediately, 3 Vikings go down, 4 Vikings, 5 Vikings go down, and now we're seeing 10 Vikings to 6. So, Dolan is set up really well outside of Simper's third base. More tanks on the way for Dolan. But now we're about to see a huge upgrade advantage for Simper. As soon as these upgrades finish here, they're all about 75% done. Things could swing heavily in Simper's favor. He may just be waiting to engage when the upgrades are done. And Dolan just backs off. Meanwhile, this ragtag group of Marines is coming up the left side, and they're focused on Dolan's third. His third. His command center immediately goes down, almost instantaneously. 2 Vikings do as well, and quite a few SCVs go down. Forcing Dolan to pull all these Marines and Vikings back to take this out. Allowing Simper to get into a different position here, but I think he's kind of forgotten about these tanks over here. I feel like if he knew they were there alone, he could have taken advantage of that. Dolan does come up in to defend this, but at what cost? What cost indeed, as the command center went down, along with 17 SCVs. So now we're sitting at 75 SCVs to 59. This time heavily in Simper's favor. Army supply 91 to 87, also in Simper's favor. Upgrades, well, I'm sounding like a broken clock now, in Simper's favor. 2 Marines that come up here to the third. They're going to try to take down this command center here. Stops it from getting built. SCV goes down. Dolan does send an SCV over here to try to repair, but it is weak. Immediately gets shot by Simper. So good job on Simper preventing Dolan from getting his expansion up in that position. Twice now denying it. Thanks, Sad Jesu, for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. And Dolan, he's got this massive army sitting out here. He may not be up in upgrades, but looks like there was an issue that they needed to pause for. But that was taken care of, so, luckily we can just watch StarCraft. Both players are posturing right now with their armies, trying to make sure that, they don't get taken aback by a sneaky siege. Or maybe some Ravens coming in with some auto turrets. So both players are playing extremely cautious at the moment. Dolan looks like he's finally going to get his 4th up. Simper's already got his 5th on his mind. He just transferred the SCVs over there. He's up 20 SCVs. He's up a base. And thank you to the bot who just followed me. Siege tanks here are going to siege up. And now it's going to be up to Dolan to see how he defends this. Two Vikings immediately go down for Dolan. And I feel like this is where Simper's time to shine is. He is heavily ahead now in the upgrades. Pretty much all the Marines completely melt from Dolan. There's nothing left. Dolan's Marines run into a meat grinder and pretty much instantly get destroyed. All these Vikings have authority now in the skies. Only a couple Vikings do remain here from Dolan, and that upgrade advantage was just too much. Simper came in there and just wiped Dolan out. Only a couple siege tanks remain. And Dolan GG's. Simper goes up 1-0 in the first match in this best of 5. So, as you guys saw, that was completely nuts. Simper goes up 1-0. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for the follows. I am Morvox, cast for Alpha X, and I've been doing NA Apprentice here for actually quite a bit. If you guys have the chance, check out my VODs, check out my YouTube. I have the up and down matches on my Twitch. I have more Code A stuff on my Twitch. I actually have the Code A finals tomorrow. I will have a guest caster on. It will be live. It will not be from replays. So it'll be highly exciting. We'll get to see who our heroes are for the Code S and Code A region here for any Apprentice. And I actually, if you guys don't mind, am going to take just a quick break so I can use the restroom. And then I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
And embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the way you move. How you like my groove, Dagoff? Well done. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move. I got the skills. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to today's Code S round of 8. We just saw Simper take game 1 over Dolan quite convincingly with a heavy upgrade lead on Oxide. Game number 2 is going to be on Beckett. Very interesting here. Beckett Industries for a TVT. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for everybody being so kind today. Just a heads up though that Bio Ice versus Patty forfeited. So there won't be a fourth match. Let's go ahead and jump into, let's see, game number 2 here between Simper and Dolan. All right, he is your purple Terran here playing in the bottom left. He is up 1-0 in this best of 5. It's Simper. Up here in the top right, our red Terran. He needs your energy to come back in this series. It's Dolan. So, in game number 1, if you guys did not catch it, Simper came in with a pretty much unsurmountable upgrade lead and completely demolished Dolan, prevented Dolan from taking his third expansion quite a few times. And now Simper's up 1-0, and he really has free reign on the series. It looks like he's going to go barracks into double gas here. So pretty much a same opening as the last game. And it's actually the same opening here for both players. Most likely going to see a Reaper here out of both players. The only difference, though, Dolan deciding not to go for that cheeky barracks play on the bottom. He decided to maybe put a barracks, like, I guess if it was this map, it would be somewhere over here. Or maybe here. But he isn't doing it on this map. He's deciding to build his barracks in his own main base. Reaper on the way for Dolan. So as soon as he gets that Reaper across the map, he's going to be able to see exactly what Simper's up to. Simper, though, deciding not to go with a Reaper. Instead, he's getting his reactor here. So he may decide to just go quick double Reaper or maybe double Marine. I don't usually see Marine openers here in TVT, but I wouldn't be surprised. Simper is throwing down his factory along with Dolan, so they're both going factory. And we will see here what they decide to do here in this game number 2 on Beckett Industries. Reaper is coming across the map, is going to take a look at what Simper's up to. As I thought, Simper is going double Reaper with his reactor barracks. Dolan is going to come in, see the timing on the factory, maybe even stop it for a second. Nope, it does complete just at the nick of time for Simper. Simper is going Hellions this game instead of Cyclones, so there's one difference between the last game. Another difference, Dolan's expanding pretty quick here. In fact, will it be a little too quick? Simper is still building Hellions and Reapers. Only one Hellion on the map now for Simper. Command Center does go down behind this, so Simper is going to take these units and use them. I'm guessing he's going to be using them defensively because he hasn't really done much with them at the moment. They're just kind of sitting in his main right now. I think he kind of feels like Dolan's going to open aggressive here. The only thing he's seen so far out of Dolan is that quick Reaper at the beginning. Other than that, I think he is deciding to move out here momentarily. I think he was just waiting for just a couple more Reapers. Meanwhile, Starport does go down just a little bit slower for Simper. So good on Dolan, though, getting a Starport up that much quicker. Tanks are on the way for Dolan. And here comes Simper. He's going to come in here with this Reaper Hellion force. What's the SCV for? Maybe he's going to build a cheeky bunker? That would be great. Or maybe he's just going to use him to tank. Instantly goes down. Cyclone is going to pretty much shut down this attack. Yeah, Simper pretty much only got one SCV there, so not too great of a move there from Simper. Raven on the way for both players. Marines are the choice here for Dolan. Meanwhile, Simper's posturing his units on the map. He's going to keep them here in the center, prevent Dolan from moving across with any cheeky Marine play, or maybe to spot a drop. Haven't seen a lot of drops so far from either player in this match. Instead, deciding to go for a mech bioforce. Both players are... Well, I was going to say both players are going tanks, but no, Dolan is still the only one going tanks at the moment. So if he keeps this up, he will get a healthy lead here in the tank count. And I don't think Simper's actually going to even go tanks at this point. He's still getting Cyclones. Cyclones are really good in TVT. We will see where this pans out, as both players are not doing the same build as they were in the last game. Dolan's deciding to go for this more marine-heavy play. Simper does mix a couple Marines in, but he was mostly going Cyclones. Cyclones have stopped, and he has switched over to tanks. So maybe he just wanted to get a couple more Cyclones included in with his Marine Bio Tank Force. And he's still just sitting here in the middle of the map, not deciding to move out or take a look at what Dolan is up to, but Dolan's going to send these two Reapers down to the south. Nice scan from Dolan. Sees the exchange of buildings here in Simper's main. He's going to see exactly what Simper has on his mind. And meanwhile, Simper is being he's posturing a lot with this army. He's not being very aggressive with it. He went in once. He got maybe one or two SCVs, then got out. He does catch these two Reapers from Dolan pretty much with their pants down here in the bottom of the map. Reapers immediately take it down. So Simper is using these units here as a way to deny map control and map vision here from Dolan. He is no longer just sitting in the middle of the map with them. Now let's take a look at the tank count. 2 tanks to 4, so definitely in Dolan's favor. And Simper's moving out. These Marines and tanks are heading across the map. They are going to try to put some pressure here on Dolan. Dolan does have 12 Marines. Simper did include some Marines in there, like we were saying. He kind of mixed them in, but he's definitely got that Cyclone advantage. Well, he did at one point. It looks like he may have thrown away a Cyclone. Yep, right up here. Dolan actually loses a Cyclone to Simper in his third. And now both players are getting ready for a massive attack. It looks like Simper's going to back up just a tiny bit, though. It actually just chooses to back off completely. Dolan is moving out here with his Marines and tanks along with these Ravens. Third up for Dolan, heavily A lot quicker than Semper, what I'm meaning to say here. Scan goes down, sees the Viking count, and pretty much everything Semper has here. Turrets go down, but also Semper's turrets go down. Defending that pretty easily. Dolan is running. But Semper definitely needs to get his third up. Dolan is mining from his third behind this. A couple Vikings do go down here from Dolan. Along with Semper also throwing away his own couple Vikings. 3 Vikings to 4, so pretty even. As far as the air versus air in this TVT. If you guys haven't already, please give me a follow. Please follow me on Twitter, so you guys can keep up with these tournaments. I'm casting this stuff all the time, at least once or twice a week. You guys can stay up to date with what's going on with these players. And you guys can follow along with what I'm doing for Alpha X. So right now, both players, neither one of them have any upgrades as of yet. There are some upgrades on the way. It does look like Semper is behind, though, in his infantry weapons, but it is slightly ahead with his combat shields. Armor also lagging behind for Semper, so it looks like Dolan's going to get a nice little upgrade advantage for a brief amount of time. 2 more barracks here on the way for Semper. 4th command center on the way here for Dolan. And an armory is going down for Dolan, so it would be really cool if we saw Thor's. Maybe even just a little bit of Widowmine play. I think that would be really good for Dolan, considering Semper doesn't really have much in either expansion as far as defense. Everything seems to be scattered here out in front. Nice map control from Semper. Keeping an eye out, making sure that there are no pesky drops trying to come around and do damage to Semper's natural expansion. 124 supply to 133. Dolan slightly ahead here in the worker count, 66 to 63. He is ahead on the army count, 71 to 61. So good on Dolan there to get slightly ahead there in the engagements to give him a slight lead. It looks like we're seeing a second factory here out of Semper. So we will see what Semper decides to do. He may just use it to accelerate his tank count heavily. Kind of what he did in the last game. It kind of overwhelmed Dolan with just more units and better upgrades. Ooh, nice on Semper there, preventing that 6 HP Cyclone from getting out of there. Command Center is going to float over here for Dolan, so he's going to take his 4th expansion here at the 10-minute mark. Meanwhile, no 4th on the way for Semper. He is deciding to just keep building tanks. Oh, yep, he does have a command center here. Right here in front, if I actually looked. 4th is on the way here for Semper. He's going to float that down. So 4th base is probably going to start mining here for Dolan just a little bit quicker than Semper. But Semper will get his 4th up momentarily. It looks like we're going to see an engagement here. Vikings are going to fly in and try to see if they can get a good viewpoint of Dolan's. Immediately one tank goes down. A second tank does get an interference matrix set on it. And now we only see 5 tanks here to what looks like 6. But we're total tank count looking at 10 versus 8. So Semper is not bringing all of his tanks up here with this attack. I think he has a couple tanks still left at home. Yep. So he is not completely defenseless to a counterattack from Dolan. Meanwhile, it looks like the 4th expansion is going down from Semper. It is now floating over there to the 4th expansion. And Semper sieging up here. And this command center just recently got put down, so it hasn't really gotten to pay for itself yet. It's getting focused down from these siege tanks. It's not even getting repaired. Down goes the command center for Dolan, putting Semper in an advantageous spot here. He is mining from his 4th base. He does have a repair to spot any type of, maybe a couple Marines come over there and stem in to try to kill some SCVs. Definitely not going to let that happen. They're both pretty even on supply counts as far as army and workers go. Dolan does have a heavy upgrade advantage right now. with his infantry weapon and armor. They're both on 1-1 as far as their met goes. $13 tanks to 9, so you guys are seeing it for yourselves. Dolan is pulling ahead in the advantage of his upgrades, but I feel like Semper here, he's had beautiful positioning with his army, coming in, pretty much taking down Dolan's command center with ease and barely losing anything for it. Great play from Semper so far in this game number 2, in this best of 5. Fusion Core is doing some work now. I wonder if we're actually going to see a battle cruiser transition here. And those Marines met a gruesome death. Semper is coming in. Semper, it feels like it's winning sad at the moment. But I feel like at any moment, Dolan could sweep around and take out everything from Semper and sway this game in his favor. Dolan is sending his SCVs up here into the top left. Very weird choice. I guess he didn't want to send them through the army of Semper. But now they're just going to get shot down here from these Marines. Meanwhile, over here in the middle of the map, we got landed Vikings and Marines fighting against a Viking force because most of the meat of Semper's army is over here on the left side of the map. SCVs are getting sent back, but there is a Reaper there. If Semper could chase them down, that would be great on Semper. Command center does go back down for Dolan. $17 Vikings to 16 Vikings in favor of Semper. So Semper doing a very good job with the defense. Not really losing much. He still has his 4th base up. Dolan's only now rebuilding that 4th. So in the economy department, Dolan is heavily behind here. Dolan does have an upgraded... Well, nope, now they're even on upgrades, 2 apiece. And in comes Dolan, pretty much forcing the command center to get out of here. All SCVs are evacuated. So pretty much doing exactly what Semper did to Dolan a moment ago. Kind of like a, hey, I'm going to copy you type thing. You're going to take my command center out? You know, I'm just going to go take yours out. So right now Semper's on the back foot. And what we thought was a game where he was in control. He does have this command center coming up to the top left, but Dolan is coming around the side here and sieging up these tanks in a very good position. Marines instantly melt. And now it's all going to be about who has more Vikings and who has better tank positioning and better upgrades. And now we're seeing Dolan. He may have threw too much away here. 46 army supply to 60. Semper doing a great job defending this. Dolan does come up here in the top left and starts firing on this command center. Vikings do come in, but they get chewed away from the Marines. And now we got a command center floating into the abyss. Look at this supply, said Jusu. Look at it. 114 supply to 135. Dolan is pulling ahead in the supply department. Is forcing Semper to pretty much float his command center into the abyss. I'm pretty sure it's going to go down here. Down goes the command center. Another bot follows, so thank you to the bot for the follow. If there's any real people watching, I would greatly appreciate if you guys will give me a follow. That way you can stay up to date. Semper is going to come in here and take out pretty much all the Vikings from Dolan. Well, I just got told in chat that Haas was a bot. I'm guessing there's not 50 people named Haas in the chat. Because I've seen like 10 Haas's. Thank you, Lucidity5, for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. So, we've been watching this crazy TBT here in match number 2 between Semper and Dolan. 128 supply to 124. 82 army to 59 army supply. Semper heavily in the lead now when it comes to his army supply. Semper is heavily, though, behind in the workers department, 56 to 73. So Semper may feel like he needs to get something done here. He is cranking out 2 tanks at a time, so that will get him in a better position. here momentarily, but it's going to take a few minutes to get back up to that 10 count he had before the last engagement. He is rotating here towards the third. 7 Vikings to no Vikings from Dolan, so Simper having the advantage in the air right now. But does he know that he does see the tail end of Dolan's army coming around bottom left side, so he does know Dolan's coming around. He's going to unsiege, and it looks like he's just going to back off for now. 1 Marine there to spot for the move out from Dolan. Dolan stems, goes into trying to take out the tanks, gets 3 tanks, but loses all of his Marines. 9 tanks to 6. And this has been a very back and forth TVT between both of these players. 17 minutes now, 17 and a half, going on 18. Both players on, well, it looks like Dolan has 3 infantry weapons, 3 armor, and 1 weapons for his mech. And it looks like Simper also is on 3 infantry, 2 armor, and 1 for his mech. So just one upgrade behind there is Simper for his infantry. And Dolan's coming up here. He's sieging. He's getting ready to defend this. But it looks like Simper is just going to back up. Maybe he will leave a couple of these tanks here. I feel like Dolan could just come in. He is heavily behind on the army supply, so Simper is definitely choking him out here, not allowing Dolan to expand. Meanwhile, Simper's got it going on. He's got every base cranking out. He's got plenty of workers. And I thought Dolan was going to make a comeback here. But it's looking like just for a little while Simper pulled ahead, then just a little while Dolan pulled ahead. It really all depended here in TVT between the battles, who took, what advantageous position in each battle. Really much put, who would be on top for that moment in time in this game. And Simper's army just looks massive. Look here at what Dolan has, and then look over here at what Simper has. Simper has just insane. He has a massive army, 128 army supply to 75. He could pretty much just A-move at this point and win the game. And I don't think Simper knows how far ahead he really is. 185 supply to 138. Let's take a look here at Simper's vision. He does stem in here. Vikings do come in and start firing out the dropships. So medevacs are heavily weakened. 1 tank does go down from Simper. But look at this. Cheeky drop going down to the south. There isn't much there to really drop on. There's this base over here on the right side. But Simper's done a great job of squeezing Dolan out in this game. Not allowing him to expand. And the drop's about to go in. There is nothing here for Dolan. Not even a single Marine. Dolan is pulling back to defend it, though. Will this do too much damage? SCVs are already starting to go down. 6 SCVs do go down, putting Simper in even more of a giant lead. 57 workers to 41. Simper's just on top of it with this game. Both players are now even on their upgrades. 3-3 for both their infantry weapons and armor. And 1 upgrade there for their mech and for their air. Looks like Dolan's going to siege up here, but Simper's going to... Looks like he's going to go for the flank. He does back up. There is so much movement on the map right now from both players. Both players are trying to catch the other one with their pants down. Simper does move the Vikings forward there to prevent the drop on top of his army. I feel like Dolan could sandwich Simper here. Dolan does come in here, stems up his Marines, and he starts taking fire. But it looks like Simper is way ahead. He's going to take down all the Marines pretty much. Vikings come in, take out all the Vikings from Dolan. And now all that's left right now for Dolan is those tanks. GG. Simper wins game number 2 as Dolan calls it. Very interesting game there. Went both ways for quite a while. Very exciting game. But Simper now goes up 2-0 in this best of 5. So it's not looking good for Dolan, guys. If you're a Dolan fan, well, you're going to have to hold on to your britches for this next one. Game 3 is going to be on 2,000 atmospheres. Simper versus Dolan. Let's not lose the momentum here, and let's go ahead and jump into game number 3. All right, guys, 2-0 up for Simper in this best of 5. And I just want to welcome everybody to 2,000 Atmospheres, where we introduce our purple Terran up in the top right. It's Simper. And down here in the bottom left, it's our red Terran. He needs your energy. He needs the energy for the Spirit Bomb to come back in this series, because that's what's it's gonna take. It's Dolan. And already we're starting to see something kind of sneaky here out of Dolan. Proxy barracks going down right outside of Simper's base, so very, very close. Very aggressive barracks forward there from Dolan. Dolan definitely wants to get back onto this series. He's going to try to swing the momentum in his favor, but it's now up to Simper to lose this. He does have one barracks going up, but will he scout this proxy barracks? Let's go ahead and watch it from Simper's vision here. We do know that the barracks is about over here, but he goes right past it. Does not see the proxy barracks there from Dolan. Honestly, I just don't see how Simper's going to be able to defend this if he puts down a reactor here. No, he's actually going for a tech lab. So very interesting choice here out of Dolan. So we may see, what, a proxy marauder rush? Very interesting play out of Dolan. Factory is going down inside Dolan's base, so I'm thinking that Dolan thinks that this is going to become just a standard game after this opening. And it is, yes, it's a proxy marauder rush. I can't even remember the last time I saw a proxy marauder rush with concussive shells. So this is very interesting play here out of Dolan, deciding to open it up with this here in the third game when he's down 2-0 in this best of 5. Reaper on the way here for Simper. So he really doesn't have much in terms of defense. And if you're just now tuning in, I am Morvox, and this is the Code S round of 8. Tomorrow is the Code A Grand Finals, and Sunday is the Code S Grand Finals. So please tune in, support the players, support the staff, support the event, because now we have Marauders and an SCV coming into Simper's base. And Simper only has 2 Reapers here to defend it. This is not looking good here for Simper. He's going to pull some SCVs, and it's never good when you have to pull SCVs. The only saving grace here is Simper does have 1 Hellion. It's not really going to do much for him against the Marauders, but he at least has something to attack with here. More Reapers are coming out, and the Marauders are weakening. They're going down. Only 3 SCVs have gone down for Simper during this attack. Meanwhile, there is a starport about to finish for Dolan back in his base, but we're going to keep looking here. This is where the action is, and Hellion and a Marauder now. I mean, and this is looking great for Simper at the moment. Yeah, he may take a little bit of damage from this, but his command center is a whole hell of a lot faster. Meanwhile, Dolan doesn't really have much behind this. He does have a starport up a little quicker, but that doesn't really help if you lose everything and die in the end of the game. 7 workers have gone down, though, for Simper. It may just put him in a position where he just may have thrown too many workers away to defend this. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Marauder Rush here in game number 3. All the Marauders go down. Yeah, this is absolutely nuts. You guys just saw that. 13 SCVs went down from Semper to defend that. Starport does finally go down here for Semper. But has this rush been completely foiled? I feel like Semper has it under control now. He's using this Reaper and these 2 Hellions. Take out this last Marauder. And I think this may be it for Dolan in this game. He is flying his barracks back. Raven on the way. But I don't feel like it's going to sway this game in the way Dolan wants it to. Semper is going to come out here out front of his natural expansion with these Hellions. He's going to repair them. So good little tear in there. Prevents his Hellions from becoming space dust. Meanwhile, mules are getting sent down onto the natural expansion here for Semper. First tank on the way for Dolan, so nobody had tanks now before this, so the tank count is going to be in favor of Dolan, but I feel like Dolan now is heavily on the back foot, considering he does not have his natural expansion up, and Semper's been mining from this base here with mules for close to, what, a minute and a half now? And I don't think Dolan has any plan to expand here. I'm not sure why he's taking that gas. It may just be over as soon as Semper send these units in. This Cyclone may just end the game here. Dolan definitely on the back foot here. He needs to put his expansion down. Ooh, and a Cyclone does go down from Dolan. So very nice play there from Semper to take out pretty much the only Cyclone to defend here from Dolan. Dolan does have his command center in the main here, about complete, but there is a pesky Reaper from Semper taking out SCVs. Gets a spot on that command center, so he does know that the 3rd command center is about to drop down here for Dolan. 29 workers to 33 in favor of Semper. Semper is starting his 3rd expansion behind this. Behind all of this aggression that he's been doing pretty much this entire game. He's been very aggressive with his forward units here. Always poking in, seeing if he can get a couple SCVs. Semper heavily ahead also in army supply. 27 army supply to 19 in favor of Semper. So, just like last game, you may think a player's ahead until they make a ridiculous mistake or they overextend and lose too much. And then the game is swayed in the other person's favor. Considering both players are even on upgrades, it can pretty much sway either way for either player. 2 tanks on the way are here for Dolan. 2 tanks are also on the field for Semper. So even on tank count, even on upgrades, we do have 3 barracks in the main for Dolan. How many barracks here we got here? We only have 1 barracks here for Semper. So we're going to see a lot more tank-oriented play here from Dolan, I think, this game. I'm sorry, for Semper. Semper looks like he's going to be dedicating it a little bit more to his Air Force and to his tanks. A little bit less bio support here from Semper. 2 Cyclones. It looks like they got a Hellion there pretty much for free. And Dolan's going to siege up here right outside his natural. Lots of Marines coming up for Dolan, so Dolan is going to have a very high Marine count in this next adventure that he decides to go on here with this army. Meanwhile, Semper is coming out onto the map with his tanks and Marines here. Only 3 tanks and what looks like 5 Marines are going to be heading out here along with these Vikings. No 3rd down yet for Dolan. Dolan deciding to just now bring his command center down. And immediately, I feel like Semper's going to put pressure on it. He comes out here. He knows he spotted that 3rd command center when he scouted with his Reaper. So he knows that command center was not down yet. So he decides to come in here, prevents the 3rd from going down. Dolan's pulling SCVs, but I think he wants to repair this command center, but I think it's going down. Oh. Dolan actually saves his command center, so very well done there by Dolan, not letting that 3rd go down. And is he just going to move it over here? I mean, I feel like no matter where he goes, Semper's going to be there, ready to pounce. 7 Vikings to 8 Vikings in favor of Semper. 5 tanks to 5 tanks for both players. 10 Marines to 11. Dolan does come in here. He gets 2 Vikings pretty much for free. Interference Matrix on that one of the tanks. Comes in here with 4 tanks and a couple Marines. Cleans it up. Well done there by Dolan. Meanwhile, Semper's going to send these Vikings, pretty much just going to camp them out here. Is it going to land them and take out this tech lab? Yep, he lands them there, takes out the tech lab. Not really that big of a deal. Dolan really wasn't doing anything with it. Still 3 base to 2 base. In favor of Semper. 55 workers to 58, also in favor of Semper. Army supply, 48 to 34. In favor of Semper. So, Semper sitting really good in this game. Dolan definitely needs to bring it back if he wants to take this series. Liberators are the choice here from Semper. Double Liberator. With Reactor here from Semper. So these Liberators are going to be able to zone out really nicely Dolan's army force. Maybe come in and get some splash damage on some Vikings. Maybe take out a couple SCVs. They can be used as harassment tools as well. And it looks like, let's see here. Semper does have a higher count of Marines. Dolan really only having a 1 tank lead here. His 1-1 did finish though. So Dolan will have a slight amount of time where he's ahead in the upgrades. And Semper's moving out again. He's coming on the right side this time. He's going to use these Liberators to zone out the tanks and the Marines. While using the Vikings to pick off the Vikings of Dolan. Get a superior air advantage here. Pretty much all the Vikings going down from Dolan. And I think this may be it. Semper's going to start the choke here on Dolan. Dolan did get his third back up, so that is good for Dolan. He's not sitting at the edge of his death at this moment. He does have, a chance. He's not completely out of this just yet. He is down heavy in the army supply, though, and it's hard to overlook. 43 army supply to 80 now. Scan goes down on top of Semper's army. He sees exactly what he's dealing with. And welcome, Blard, to the stream. Thanks for coming and tuning in. So Semper is sitting over here with these tanks and Marines. He's been preventing Dolan from expanding pretty much this entire game. Dolan was able to get his third up, but at what cost? He threw away all of his Vikings in that last engagement. Meanwhile, a 4th is going down for Semper. $91 army supply to 57, so still heavily in favor of Semper. Upgrades are in favor of Dolan. 4 tanks to 7 tanks in favor of Semper. So Semper may have an army advantage, but Dolan has the upgrade advantage. It's just, if Dolan could keep fighting and somehow stay in this game, he can pull ahead and take the game back into his position, into his advantageous position. Dolan has been on the back foot pretty much this entire game. He is going to send out his 4th over to this left side, but Semper's getting absolutely massive, guys. He's at 94 army supply to 49. And he's moving out here onto the map with these Vikings and tanks and Marines. And Dolan, he really just doesn't have what he needs to defend this. Semper's going to come in and take out the rocks, and I feel like he's going straight for the throat of Dolan. Dolan may have a slight upgrade advantage, but right now Semper is pretty much almost doubling his army supply at this moment. Nice siege ups there from Dolan. It's going to prevent Semper from jumping on top of that command center. Semper's just going to unsiege, and he's going to try to bait his time and find an advantageous position where he can get a better concave, maybe a better army trade. But at the moment, if Semper takes down this expansion up here in the left-hand side, it's going to put Dolan pretty much in a GG moment. This game may just end here momentarily. Semper sitting in such a ridiculous lead right now. 192 supply to 159. And it looks like Dolan's going for a counterattack. Ashley's just going to try to come up here, take out a couple of these tanks. But this command center is going to go down. putting it once again on pretty much a... Let's see, there's pretty much no minerals there. Running dry there. It's still pretty good there. So pretty much almost like a 1.5 base Terran against a 3 base Terran at this point. Considering Semper's main is pretty much mined out. Semper still has the air support superiority lead with 10 Vikings to 2. Dolan's going to try to come in and take this fight, but I think this may be the death throes of Dolan. Actually gets a very nice surround there. Mops everything up there from Semper, so very good job there from Dolan. Like I was saying before, all it takes is one advantage, and you could swing this game back into your favor. Dolan is going to come back here and try to be a little bit more cautious. He's probably going to want to... think he'd want to come back up here and defend this command center, but he is moving along the right side here. It looks like he smells blood. And this game is just getting insane. Semper was in the lead. Now Dolan looks like he's about to come in here. They are even on upgrades at this point, so neither player being favored in that regard. Dolan is going to try to drop on top of Semper. Didn't really work out, though. Semper was prepared for it. Very large army here out of Semper. But Dolan, he's now pulling ahead, though. 117 army supply to 110. And Semper just continues to expand behind this. A double expansion here out of Semper. Semper is going to come here, try to fire on these tanks. Does take out a tank, backs up, loses one of his own tanks, a second tank actually. And such a weird engagement here from Dolan. He jumps in here, takes out all the tanks. And now he's coming up here on the 4th of Semper. There is a double command center there with a planetary. Did Semper overextend here? 61 army supply, 297. But the good thing here is Semper was repairing it. Even though it didn't really matter, Semper did react. He did repair the command center. Did go down. Putting Semper in a position now where he pretty much needs to take out this camping army because it is preventing him from getting to his expansion over here on the left side. And I feel like Semper is almost in panic mode here. Dolan continues to just pump 12 Marines at a time, 2 tanks, while Semper is deciding to go Liberators with tank and Marines. Just not as many Marines, not as many tanks. 88 army supply to 84. 51 workers to 57. Semper still in the lead as far as workers go. And that double expansion is going to pay dividends here for Semper. Dolan does know about it, so he's going to come around the corner and try to get into position. One Marine from Semper does see this, though, allowing him to get in position. And Dolan just backs off. Upgrades are still even for both players here. Semper up 12 workers, really being the only difference in this game, besides the actual compositions. Let's take a look here. 34 Marines to 38 Marines in Semper's favor. So Semper having a slightly larger Marine count. One thing that you will notice is there are no Liberators for Dolan. So Dolan deciding not to go Liberators. He is deciding to build more Medivacs, though, for his army. Semper getting set up here to defend. And Dolan just backing up. So Dolan does have this healthy base over here. So good on Dolan for getting that base up. He is also mining here from this bottom base, which was taken out earlier. And both players are just kind of posturing around each other, trying to find a weakness. Very large siege and unsiege here for Dolan. I felt like Semper had a moment there where he could have ran his Marines on top of those tanks. But of course, he does not have map vision like we do when we cast these games or watch them. Semper is just going to back up here to his 4th. Meanwhile, Dolan's posturing back again towards the south. One drop does go with, more than one drop. We got 4 medevacs now. 5 with tanks in there. So 10 tanks now being in dropships. Meanwhile, Semper is posturing down to the bottom here. He's going to come in to defend this. Dolan is coming in with all these tanks. He's dropping them right on top of these turrets. Loses a couple medevacs just in the initial drop. Quite a few Marines go down there from Dolan, using almost all of his Marines. Planetary is being repaired. Tanks are being sieged. And I feel like Dolan is on his death throes now. 119 supply to 174. He needs to get something done here, or this is game. This is the end of his series. He's going to try to get something done here, but I don't think it'll be enough. Marines snim and come on top of these tanks. All the tanks go down. Vikings go down. Another tank goes down, and this is putting Semper in a position now where he could just close out this game. Dolan is running away with his tail between his legs while Semper gets set up here. Looks like he's going to pounce on top of this 4th base momentarily. He is waiting for his tanks to come. Dolan does spot it with a scan, so he knows Semper is on the way. What is Dolan's choice here to deal with this? He's still going 2 tanks at a time. Lots of Marines coming out here. Double Viking production. 82 Army to 121. Semper still heavily ahead in Army department. Up 40 supply. 141 to 180. And he's going to stem these Marines in, but he's only got a couple medevacs, so he just needs to be careful not to overstem his army before he runs in here. Let's get 1 tank there, pretty much for just a couple Marines. So great play there from Semper. Dolan needs to get something done here. Semper is encroaching on top of this base. This command center is going to go down. SCVs are dying. GG. And Semper takes it 3-0. Dolan gets completely closed out in this match. Match number 2 of the night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I am Morvox. I am streaming for Alpha X, and today I'm streaming NA Apprentice Code S round of 8. And you can see the stuff there on the graphic to my right. We had Pili Pili versus Warren, which Pili Pili took. And then we had Semper versus Dolan, which you just saw that one. Our last game of the night is going to be Vindicta versus Zero, because Patty, unfortunately, he forfeited. So BioIce will move forward there. So it looks like we already have our top semifinal up. It's going to be Pili Pili versus Semper. It's the first semifinal of the Code S in NA Apprentice Season 4. So excellent there. And now we're on the bottom half. We're going into Vindicta versus Zero. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the first map is going to be. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't, please give me a follow so you guys can stay up to date on these tournaments. You know, check out what I am casting, what I'm doing. I play Magic the Gathering every Sunday, you know, and I'm probably going to play AoE 4 when it comes out here in, a couple weeks? Only like 2 weeks. So please give me a follow. It's greatly appreciated. Of course, there are other things that you guys can check out. I have my YouTube stuff there. If you guys want to add to the prize pool, you guys can look up the Matcherino, and you guys can add to the prize pool for this tournament. And that is always awesome to give players more money. So game number 1 is going to be on Romanticide for Vindicta versus Zero. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So Vindicta versus Zero here on Romanticide. Let's go ahead and get into it. So here we are on Romanticide between these two great players. You know him. He plays for Team Alpha X. It is Vindicta. And then the bottom right, our Red Terran player. I've casted some of his games before. It's Zero. So, good thing to note here is barracks are being built in the main base of both players, so we're not going to see any cheeky proxy play. Vindicta heavily favored in this match, considering he's also my homeboy. He plays for Alpha X, who I cast for. So I'm going to be a little bit biased in saying that I kind of want Vindicta to take this, but of course I'm going to cast it completely unbiased. Zero is a great Terran. If you guys haven't already, please follow him on YouTube. I think he does some streaming as well. But Zero is going to go for an early scout here with his SCV. Vindicta with a little bit later of a delayed scout. So Zero's going to be able to get in and see exactly what Vindicta's up to here, which is going to be a Reaper. Zero's Reaper just a tiny bit faster. Factory does go down here for Vindicta, so Zero's going to get a nice scout on this. He's going to see, he's going to see the timing on the Factory. He's most likely going to see that Reaper when it pops out. Does pop in, sees the Factory, so good job there on Zero. Meanwhile, Vindicta is not getting inside the base of Zero. Pretty much all he sees is this main wall. Reaper does come jump down here for Zero, and he's most likely going to chase down this SCV. So far, nothing too aggressive here out of either player. Both players kind of opening up a little standard here. Factory is going to complete here a little bit sooner for Vindicta. So he is deciding to open with Hellions, and we will decide what... we will see what Zero decides to open up with here momentarily. He is getting a faster command center, so... Good on Zero to get, just a little bit of an economic jump there ahead of Vindicta. Vindicta does decide to expand too, just a little bit behind. It seems like Zero's just a tiny bit ahead in all regards. He's even ahead one worker, so yeah, he's just a little bit ahead. Vindicta does have a slightly larger army, 7-5. He does have these 2 Reapers and this Hellion. Well, I'm not seeing much here on the ground for Zero as of yet. He does have these 2 Reapers, and he's jumping into the main base of Vindicta. He's going to get some SCVs, I guarantee it. There is nothing there to defend. He pulls the SCVs. Nice pull there from Vindicta. Doesn't actually lose anything. Very well played. Doesn't lose a single SCV. Comes in, takes out both Reapers. And you can't ask for a better defense than that. Yeah, Vindicta may be slightly behind on his expansion, but he just pretty much wiped the floor with whatever Zero had on the ground. He does have one Cyclone here sitting on top of the high ground. He is going to move it down to the low ground. But I feel like Vindicta here, he's ready to do some damage. He's coming here. He immediately targets the Cyclone, which causes it to go into the main. Vindicta does lose his Hellion, and he's going to lose these 2 Reapers. So, very weird exchange here out of Vindicta and Zero. Zero deciding to throw away pretty much everything in Vindicta's base. And then Vindicta just turned around and said, hey, I'm going to throw everything at you now. So, both players are sitting pretty even. 31 supply, 240. Zero is ahead, about 5 army supply. And he's also ahead up 4 SCVs. So, I feel like Zero is sitting just slightly ahead over Vindicta here in this best of 5. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, please give me a follow so that you guys can stay up to date with these tournaments. And if you're just now tuning in, this is the Code S round of 8. We're on the 3rd match of the night. And it's looking like Vindicta... What exactly does he have in store for us here? It looks like he's going for 1 Raven. It is slightly behind of Zero in that regard. He is getting a tech lab on his Factory. However, it is still slightly behind Zero. Zero's going to throw down his 3rd command center. And out comes a drop here for Vindicta. So a drop heading out on the map, filled with 1 Cyclone and 4 Marines. Going to try and see what Vindicta can get done. There is nothing here to spot this. There is 1 supply depot over here in the main, but by the time it sees it, it will be in the main. Usually you want to see like a couple Marine or maybe an SCV build, something like a sensor tower over here. That's not the case here. Vindicta's just going to fly right in. Will Zero be prepared for this? He is prepared. He has a siege tank sieged up. His Marines at the ready. Takes down 1 Marine pretty much for free. Vindicta most likely will just get this supply depot and have to fly out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the army composition here. We have 1 Cyclone, 1 tank, 8 Marines, and a Raven for Vindicta. And on the other side for Zero, we have 3 tanks, 10 Marines, and 2 Ravens. So we're definitely seeing the diversity here in the changes they make to the specific builds that they're using. They pretty much both open with the same build. And that's where we saw the divergent, was basically in the middle of the game. Zero does have a tank lead here, but 1 is, interference matrix, so can't really do much there in terms of taking on this force of Vindicta, but it looks like Vindicta's just going to set up here outside the natural and try to maximize as much damage as he can. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, he is going double engineering bay. But Zero already has his upgrades on the way. So Zero's going to be way ahead in the upgrade department. Vindicta instead no, well, I was going to say Vindicta was going to pull ahead in the stim pack arena, but no. Zero's also ahead there. So I just feel like in every instance of this game, it feels like Zero is ahead. So really good on Zero. He also got this third base, and he's mining from it. And Vindicta's only now just sending his command center down to take the third. So Vindicta being heavily map aware, sending units pretty much all around to keep lookouts for drops, or maybe an enemy move out, or maybe a Marine hit squad. Good on Vindicta there to keep vigilant. 57 SCVs to 49 in favor of Zero. 107 army supply in favor of Zero over Vindicta's 96. Both of them are pretty even on army, though. 43 to 48. Only just a couple units here or there. Stimpack is about to complete here for Zero, so there will be a moment where Zero can maybe get something done. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to sit back and play just a little bit more defensively. You know, win ahead, get further ahead. There's no need to throw the game away just yet here for Zero. Both players are deciding to throw 2 more barracks into their builds. Armory, though, on the way for Zero. Infantry. Weapons and armor here about to complete here for Zero, so we're going to see some upgrades on the board here for the players here momentarily. Vikings still on the way for Vindicta. 6 Vikings here to only 3, so Vindicta definitely having a higher Viking count. It's going to help him a little bit when the fight does decide to happen. They will use them for map vision. He will use them to focus down Ravens. He will use them to, damage medevacs, those things. And like I said, Zero sitting now on an upgrade advantage. Vindicta's upgrades this now finish. And Zero, he didn't really capitalize on that. He really didn't have much time to really get anything done there. He could have maybe gone for a swift drop. Vindicta, though, being really good with his sensor towers, though, is going to prevent any type of dropship. He could have came in here from this left side. There's nothing here. Not even a turret. Zero's just going to come in here and take out this scouting Marine. Meanwhile, Zero's being very frontal here with this Marine. He's going to watch for the 4th expansion to come down here for Vindicta. And double command center coming up behind this for Vindicta. So Vindicta's going to mass expand here momentarily. Most likely going to take his 4th and his 5th base at the same time. Both players now even on upgrades. And Zero, he's just getting his 4th out just a little bit faster than Vindicta. So Vindicta, just a couple seconds on the back foot here. Nothing too crazy. Nothing that could sway the game in either's favor at this point. I do like, though, that Vindicta is double expanding behind this. Double starport going down for Vindicta as well. Meanwhile, Zero's just, he's building the barracks farm. 3 more barracks on the way. So many barracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 barracks. So 8 barracks for Zero. He may just decide to switch from this tank bio army into just going a complete bio force. Zero is ahead, so we could definitely get away with such a tech transition. Meanwhile, both armies kind of walk past each other. Vindicta sending his Marines to the north while Zero decides to head west. He takes out the rocks. He backs up. Vindicta a little unsure there about engaging into the command center. It is a planetary, and there is a sensor tower there, so Zero knows what's up. He saw the army coming in. Meanwhile, Zero's just... I don't think he's going to be ready for this drop. He does see it with one Marine, though, so good on him for catching that. Allowing him to get his army back in position. And Vindicta has decided to take this 4th up here first before coming down and taking this one as his 5th. And quite a bit of Marines and medevacs here on the right side. I feel like at any moment's time, Vindicta can load them up and drop the natural of Zero. When Zero's not paying attention, Zero just come in there and completely snipes the command center. So really, really good play here out of Zero. He's going to siege up the tanks. Only one is not going to be able to fire here in this fight. $11 siege tanks to 10 siege tanks in favor of Vindicta, but I feel like Zero definitely has the better position here. He's also dropping the main with these Marines, trying to do some damage here to the tech and buildings here of Vindicta. Meanwhile, the small force over here from Zero is still shooting upon that command center. 12 SCVs go down from Vindicta, now putting him behind in the SCV count, 65 to 71. And Vindicta is choosing not to deal with this for the moment. He's deciding to just posture his army down towards his fourth. I guess he feels like there's not really enough here to really do much, if anything. Like, maybe he just needs to repair that supply depot before it dies. Other than that, it does supply block Vindicta. And then there is a supply depot finishing here for Vindicta, so it's not going to really affect him that much. Zero's just putting the choke here onto Vindicta, preventing him from taking his expansion over here to the right, forcing Vindicta to come down here to the south, allowing Zero to come up here with his army. He tries to rush in there, but he gets shot at by the tanks. So nice defense there from Vindicta, having his tanks already sieged up and ready to go. Immediately, Vindicta goes in, stems, takes out a Raven. Raven goes down there from Zero. Vikings of Vindicta come in, take out a lot of the Vikings from Zero, giving the air superiority back to Vindicta. This army still sitting over here from Zero, pretty much just putting the choke onto Vindicta. Zero's going to back up, he's going to unsiege his tanks, and he's just going to back up for now. 3 Ravens on the way here for Zero. 3 at a time, not just 3 total. So 3 Ravens here about to drop here for Zero. Meanwhile, he is expanding down here to the south position. And Vindicta's been having a really hard time with dealing with this small little force up here to the right. Zero got in, sniped the command center over here to the right, and is now set up here on the high ground. Pretty much forcing Vindicta into a position where he has to defend 2 points of interest here. If Vindicta doesn't split his armies at the right supply, he may just get steamrolled on either side. Zero's going to try to put some units here. It looks like a couple Marines in here into a medevac. He's most likely going to drop here while at the same time putting on pressure. Three Liberators here on the way for Vindicta. So Vindicta's deciding to go heavy on the Liberators here for the defense. Turrets are also going up, and Zero does finally back off that position. Now before putting a lot of pressure on that and taking down a command center. Zero is checking the bottom left. There is nothing there. 4 Ravens at a time now coming out for Zero. So many Ravens out of Zero. Very interesting choice. How many Ravens does he have total? 5 Ravens here out of Zero. So very interesting play here on this TVT dynamic. We most likely are going to see a lot of auto turrets here out of Zero. And we most likely will see some defensive, or the matrices that prevent the tanks from shooting. Zero does stem in here and takes out a barracks, forces to cancel on a couple other buildings, takes out a turret, and backs up. So really nice engagement there from Zero. Doesn't really lose too much. Gets in, takes out a few things. Kind of just slows some Vindicta down just a little bit. Upgrades are 3-3 across the board. Well, nope, Zero does not have his 3 for his infantry armor yet, so is behind in that regard. And Zero is ahead on his mech weapons, 2-1. So Zero does have slightly better mech units right now, but on his infantry, he is lagging behind in the armor upgrade. Meanwhile, he's going to come out here and take this expansion here in the center. Zero's sitting in a really good position. Vindicta is slightly ahead in the worker supply, 82 to 71, and Zero's going to stem in here, thinking that this may be his time to end this game. Interference matrices go down onto 2 tanks from Vindicta, but it forces Vindicta to lift this command center. And now Zero is once again putting the chokehold onto Vindicta, squeezing him out, forcing him to expand more to the lower left. Meanwhile, Zero is also expanding to the lower left, so I feel like it's going to put him in a position where they pretty much are both going to have to bang heads this entire game. Big Doom Drop coming out here from Zero. He's going to go into the main base and drop all of this onto the buildings and tech of Vindicta. And I don't think Vindicta was ready for this. Most of his army was out of position. He is coming back in with a couple Marines and tanks, but it's not going to be before he loses a couple barracks and his reinforcements from coming out. Zero's going to focus down the tech labs, forcing Vindicta to lift off his main command center and vacate. Lots of production here going down for Vindicta. Zero did quite a bit of damage there, but I feel like he threw away quite a bit of army. He is still sitting ahead right now, 121 army supply to 88, so maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Zero definitely got in there, got some damage done, got out, didn't lose too much, forcing Vindicta here to expand into the bottom left. And Zero's now taking the top right, so Zero sitting in the base count. He's far ahead of Vindicta. Vindicta is ahead for SCVs, but what can you say? Zero is sitting up also 129 army supply to over 104. With the Raven count superiority here, still sitting on, it's actually on 9 Ravens now, so heavy on the Raven play here from Zero. Pretty much wiping that base off the map for Vindicta. 196 to 198. Pretty much everything even right now. Even the upgrades are all even now at the moment. So whoever gets the better positioning here and the better fight could take this game. Zero does stem and come along the right side here, and he's going to run up into the natural. Running up into the natural with all these Marines. Quite a few get taken out by that siege tank. But this commander's now under fire. And Zero's going to get on top of Vindicta again. Putting the force onto Vindicta now. 190 supply to 168 and dropping for both players. As Zero sends this huge amount of Marines into the main of Vindicta. Getting on top of production again. And Zero, with the upset, takes game number 1 off Vindicta in this best of 5. So excellent game there from Zero. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Blarg. Sorry guys, I was dying there for a second. I was actually just getting over a really, really bad cold. Alright, and game number 2 is going to be on Oxide. So Zero is up 1-0. So Zero definitely swaying this series in his favor. Let's go ahead and jump back in. No need to waste any time. And down here in the bottom left, we have our blue Terran. It's Vindicta. And in the top right here, our red Terran. He just took a game off Vindicta. It's Zero. So last game went the distance, definitely for sure. Zero actually taking the game off Vindicta, which was actually quite surprising. Considering Vindicta was heavily favored in this series. I Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't already, please give me a follow. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me somewhere so you guys can keep up to date with this tournament. We do have the Code A Finals on Saturday, which I will be casting with Blarg. Blarg, if you're still in here, Blarg will be... sorry, Blarg. I'm not casting with you, Blarg. I asked you to cast with me. Looks like you had some things going on, so sorry about that. I kind of jumped the gun. But both players open up here with a barracks. So double gas into barracks here for both players. Reaper's on the way for both players. And we're going to see a pretty standard game here as far as the TVT goes. SCV does try to attack the supply depot here. He does decide to back off. So sneaky play there out of Vindicta. You know, try to be a little annoying with his SCV. Factories go down for both players. And I think this is going to be a really good TVT. If it was anything like the last match, I think we're in for a treat here. Vindicta looks like he was thinking about building something over here. Or maybe he was just waiting to scout. It looked like he wanted to build something there. Maybe a starport or something, but he's sending SCV in. Reaper does catch it, and immediately it goes down. And the command center goes down 4-0. So a faster command center here out of 0 will definitely put him in a good spot economically. As far as his starport goes, he is also getting that down, so he will have his starport up a little bit quicker here from Vindicta. Such has been the tale of this series between these two Terran players. It feels like Vindicta's always just one step behind, at least in Game 1. We'll see if Vindicta can bring it back. I really would like Vindicta to bring some of that fighting spirit back. He needs to get onto the board. And what is going to be the opening here? 4-0. He is just going for a medevac, so maybe he's going to go for a really quick marine drop. Or maybe he's just going to put on a little bit of pressure with his marines. Vindicta does have these Reapers over here on the right side, pretty much looking for that kind of thing. Looking for a dropship, looking for, you know, a couple of marines moving out across the map. Or a proxy. No proxies, though, from either player. Just a really fast command center at a 0. Tanks are on the way for 0 as well. No tanks on the field as of now. Reapers do jump into the main base of 0, start immediately firing on these SCVs. 3 SCVs go down pretty much immediately, along with a 4th, and now Vindicta's going to jump into the natural with impunity and start firing on these SCVs. 0 has to use his own drop to defend this. So far, a really good play here out of 0. 0's going to catch 1 Reaper pretty much for free. 2 Reapers do escape. But this Hellion's going to chase him down. Another Reaper does go down. Raven here on the way for 0. So 0 deciding to go with a little bit faster of a... Well, not a little bit. He's heavily ahead in his Raven. His Raven is over 50% faster than Vindicta's at the moment. Cyclone still being pumped out here from 0. Looks like Vindicta does have 1 Cyclone down on the field already, along with 1 tank. 8 Marines to 12 Marines, so 0 in favor there. And 0 is posturing here with this small little army of Marines in this medevac. He does have a tank in it, ready for a pounce. Maybe he can jump on top of something as it's moving out here from Vindicta. However, Vindicta is playing quite defensively at the moment. He has most of his army in his natural, squeezed here into this tight little corner. And I think at this point, as 0, you pretty much just got to expand, and that's what he's doing. 3rd command center is going down. Vindicta's 3rd is also going down as well. Pretty much neck and neck as far as their command centers go. Maybe only a slightly bit slower. No upgrades on the field as of yet. Both players going without upgrades for the moment. 2 base Terran versus 2 base Terran. one singular Hellion sitting out front, pretty much just watching for anything to move out here from Vindicta. So Zero still, even though he is way ahead, still remembering, keep units here at the front here to watch out for Vindicta. Make sure he doesn't try anything. Maybe flies a couple drop ships over. His medevacs fly over the Hellion. He catches a drop. Who knows? Zero is moving out here on the map, though, with his Marine force here. He has one tank and a couple medevacs as well. 2 Ravens on the field for Zero. He most likely will expand behind this, moving his third command center down. It should be moving down as soon as it's finished, turning into an orbital here. Meanwhile, Zero's going to come around the corner, and he's going to jump right onto the natural expansion of Vindicta. Does Vindicta know about this, though? Yeah, he does, because he is sending Marines over there. He is going to see this. Immediately, Vindicta should get his tank sieged up. 4 tanks to 2, so Vindicta does have the tank count in his favor at the moment. Stem is also a little bit slower than Zero's. I'm sorry, Zero's is faster, and Vindicta's is a little bit slower. Pretty much telling the broken tale this game, basically, of Zero being ahead pretty much the entire time. Vindicta being ahead in tanks, but he is now muling again at his third. Down go the mules for Zero, so Zero's going to just pull back. He was able to get his third up. Vindicta's third is up as well. So at the moment, 54 workers to 46. Vindicta is ahead in the worker count, so good on them there, but 51 army supply to 48 in Zero's favor. Zero is only slightly ahead when it comes to the army. Zero is moving 2 Marines along this left side here. I'm pretty sure they're just looking for drops. And both players are just kind of giving each other their space. Looks like 1-1 is going to finish here for Zero just a little bit faster here than Vindicta. Vindicta started his 1-1, I'm going to say about 20 to 30 seconds after Zero. So Zero will pull ahead here in the upgrades just momentarily. He's moving this army down here towards the south. Sensor tower does finish it up, so it will catch wind of this. Not before Zero takes out the rocks, though, so that he could, jump on top of Vindicta's army just a little bit quicker. There is not much in the center area except 2 siege tanks and some Marines. Could allow Zero to run pretty much straight into the natural if he wanted to. Don't think he's going to do that, though. I think he's just going to take out these rocks and back up, considering half of his army is still at home. Yep, takes out the rocks, backs up. 2 more barracks going down for Vindicta. So Vindicta decided to be a little bit more bio-focused in this match than the last one. And it's 84 supply to 79. Zero still ahead in the army supply here. 1-1 upgrades on the field for Zero for his army weapons and armor. Sorry, his infantry armor. And we're pretty much just seeing both players just trying to find a weakness in each other's play. Just kind of moving around on the map, sharking around on the map, trying to find a way that they could pounce on one another and do maximum damage. At this moment, it looks like Vindicta is going to move up here towards this north expansion, the third of Zero. What would be the third of Zero. Vindicta is putting his siege tanks in the medevacs. He is dropping them right there on the ramp towards the natural of Zero, and now he's firing upon Zero at this moment. So both of them are quite equal on upgrades, so it's all going to come down to positioning now and who gets the better matrix off on each other. Right now, one tank does have one, goes down pretty much for free. What is the Viking count? 6 Vikings to no Vikings for Zero. So Vindicta has the air superiority here, which is explaining why he's able to get these defensive matrices off and take out these tanks with ease. Vindicta does stem in and attack this force, but there are so many Marines here from Zero. Pretty much wipes the floor with the tanks for Vindicta. And is Vindicta going down here in game number 2? Zero is pretty much chasing this force all the way back home, with more red streaming in behind him with the reinforcements. The rocks are down. Zero is in a position now where he's going to put a ton of pressure onto Vindicta, and it's up to Vindicta now to defend. Zero is getting set up here outside the 4th of Vindicta. If Vindicta was to take that, Vindicta is putting up 2 starports, so it's deciding to go heavily on the Liberators. But is it too little too late? Zero is coming in here. 114 army supply to 94. Just a little bit more in the lead is Zero. Army upgrades are in favor of Zero at this moment, considering he's sitting on 2-2. And Vindicta is still on 1-1. He's going to come in here. He's going to start firing. I feel like he could have fired a little bit more in that command center because he didn't want to take too much damage there from those tanks. But this is Zero's game to lose. He's heavily in the lead right now. He is expanding behind this, so great on Zero. He's going to swing around the left here. Take out that sensor tower, and now he's just going to sandwich this army. He's going to come around the left side with a great flank. Takes out quite a few Marines there from Vindicta. Vindicta falling down to 139 supply. I'm sorry, Zero falling down to 139 supply. Still pretty even, though, on the army, 71 to 65. And Vindicta, I feel like that was kind of a dirty defense out of Vindicta. I feel like he could have lost a little bit less and was a little bit more clean in his defense. He does lose 17 SCVs, so Zero pulling ahead in the... Well, nope, they're still even on workers, still 64 to 63, so about evening out the game now is Zero as far as economy goes. And now Vindicta's caught up in the upgrades department. It's now 2-2 for both players as far as their infantry weapons and armor go. Their upgrades for their mech are sitting at 1-1, so pretty much exactly even right now. It looks like Zero's going to try to come around the right side here with a flank and try to take out this tank. Catching Vindicta pretty much out on the map. He gets in, he takes out a tank and quite a few Marines and just gets out pretty much for free. Vindicta only now just getting back with his Marines to defend this, allowing Zero to just back up. I feel like Zero, if he just sieged that one tank, he could take out quite a few Marines when Vindicta was chasing him there. Zero does decide to just back up. Well played there from Zero. And there's just red all over the map for Zero. Zero being very active with all of his units on the map. Mules do go down, but not before one singular Liberator gets sieged up there in the middle line, but Zero takes it out with ease. 145 supply to 175. Vindicta is pulling ahead now. In pretty much every department, he's ahead in workers and in army at this moment. So it's Vindicta's game to lose now. And he's going to try to take these 4 medevacs and drop them into the main when I'm thinking he's going to drop into the main. Meanwhile, Zero is getting set up here outside the 3rd of Vindicta. But Vindicta's ready. He's got some tanks. He's got a sieged up Liberator. He does have some bio and tanks down here to defend. Meanwhile, these 4 medevacs are boosting into the main. There is one turret there. Doesn't really do much as Vindicta just bypasses it, runs up into the main, starts targeting the tech. Marines go down. And now Vindicta's camping out on the production of Zero. Pretty much forcing Zero to completely pull everything back. And then he gets out. So well played there from Vindicta. Sorry, my throat is so dry, guys. But we got to keep going. 4 dropships get in there. They unload on top of the production of Zero. Get, just a couple Marines. Don't really get many. Didn't get any buildings of any kind or any tech labs or reactors. Pretty much just got some Marines. Saw that all the army was being pulled back from Zero. Gets out of there. And now he's backing up. And now we're seeing a 4-base Terran against a 4-base Terran with even upgrades. Zero is behind, though, when it comes to his mech upgrades. He's only sitting on 1 weapons. But as far as bio goes, they are completely even. 200 supply to 177. Vindicta is quite ahead in the SCV count, sitting now at 75 SCVs to 46. So I feel like the longer this goes, Vindicta's just going to run away with this game. Yeah, Zero will have a slightly bigger army because he has less workers, which could put him in a position where he may take a good fight. But if any damage happens to Zero's economy at this point, it is almost a crippling blow. Vindicta is moving up here in with his Marines and pretty much just his Marines. He stems and gets right on top of these tanks, takes out pretty much all the Marines from Zero. And this may be the killing blow here. Vindicta is firing down on the 4th of Zero. Zero does bring back a lot of his Marines and 2 tanks, forcing Vindicta to back up. But we're seeing 47 SCVs to 75. I feel like Zero's going to try to come in here with a flank here over here on the left side. No, he decides to move into Vindicta's territory. The sensor tower does see his army movement, though, so he should be ready. Meanwhile, Vindicta's coming on the right side, still continuing to put pressure on this 4th base of Zero. Marines stem in, take out a tank, take out a turret. He gets another tank for his troubles, so very good there by Zero. Meanwhile, over here, Vindicta has completely destroyed the command center and is moving in, taking out even more tanks, and Marines are going down. Meanwhile, this attack over here from Zero has pretty much squashed. And Vindicta's going to come in here, and he's going to do the killing blow. I'm pretty sure this is it. GG! And Vindicta ties it up, 1-1. So Vindicta ties it up 1-1. And it looks like map number 3 is going to be on Beckett. But before we go to Beckett, I just want to take a quick break so I can get some more water. And we'll be right back. Code S, round of 8.
And embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the way you move. How you like my groove, Dagoth? Well done. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move. I got the skills. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move. Overmind has got the skills. Awaken, my child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that
Thank you, everybody, for staying tuned in while I took that break. So, we are on the final match of the night tonight. Vindicta versus Zero. Vindicta just took it up 2-1. Game number 4 is going to be on 2,000 atmospheres. Let me go ahead and get it loaded so we can jump in there for you guys. It's loaded up. Let's go. And here we are on 2,000 atmospheres. Vindicta up 2-1 in this best of 5. Playing for his team, Alpha X. It's Vindicta. And in the top right, we have our red Terran player. He showed us some good moves in this best of 5 so far. Will he be able to take it back? It's Zero. So Vindicta is up 2-1 in this best of 5 now. What will Zero decide to do here? If he wants to swing this back into his favor. So far, both players going for a standard barracks opener. Vindicta, however, deciding to go for this Macarax down here in the natural expansion. May force Zero to maybe freak out a little bit when he goes to scout. He is sending that SCV across the map, so he will get in there and see that. Most likely, the first place you're going to decide to look is in that position. Vindicta deciding to also send out his SCV now. Both SCVs dance right past each other, parallel to each other on the map. And it looks like Vindicta's going to get in here. Sorry, Zero's going to get in here first. He's going to see this late barracks here from Vindicta, and he should immediately think, what are you doing with all those minerals if your barracks is just now going down? He should scout and try to look for the proxy there, but there is a factory on the way for Zero, along with a bunker. Did Zero see that barracks? He did not. So he gets in, he scouts, he does not see the barracks. Putting Vindicta in a position where Zero may react incorrectly to this. We're most likely going to see a Reaper Hellion opening here from Vindicta, but Zero is prepared. He does have a bunker finishing up here. Factory only just a little bit behind here for Zero, and we're going to see what Zero decides to open up with here on his factory. Decides to immediately throw down his starport. Marine's still on the way here for Zero. Hasn't decided to... He is going for the tech lab, so he may decide to get a tank or a cyclone here. Meanwhile, Vindicta is sitting back in his scouting SCV, and he's going to see that there is no command center here for Zero. Meanwhile, on the here on the other side, it looks like there was a couple Hellions in a Reaper that went down. I don't think I got any damage done. No workers killed so far in this game number 4 of this best of 5. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, give me a follow. Go to Matcherino, donate some money for the cause. Check out my YouTube, check out my Twitter. I greatly appreciate all the support that you guys give. We are one scene. We need to support each other. This is our game. Vindicta is moving up here with these Hellions and Reapers, though. And Zero's deciding to follow this up with Cloak. One Cyclone, though, is going to make those Hellions pretty much have to run away, and pretty much immediately... Zero's going to run this SCV, and he's going to see the timing here on this expansion out of Vindicta. Starport finishing up also for Vindicta, so... Pretty sure it's just going to be a medevac there out of the Starport. No, he actually decides to go for a Viking, so... Very smart choice out of Vindicta. He's going to get started on his Viking count as early as he can. Also, there are Cloak Banshees that are going to be on the field here for Zero, so Vikings can help out there. One SCV scout gets taken out here for Zero. No tanks on the field yet, so first tanks being built here out of both players. One Banshee now on the way for Zero. And it's going to be on Vindicta how he wants to defend this. He doesn't have any turrets, so he hasn't smelled this coming yet. He doesn't know that there's Cloak Banshees on the way. He doesn't know about the Cloak Cheese incoming, this one base Cloak Cheese. He does scan and see it there, so and he sees the shimmer on the tech lab, so I'm pretty almost 90% sure he knows that cloak is on the way. And did he cancel that? No, it completed. So Zero does have the cloak for his Banshees out. He is now just sitting down his command center, so heavy late expansion here out of Zero. I feel like Zero wanted to put in a little bit more pressure, but it kind of fizzled. I feel like Vindicta, he figured it out. It was one well-placed scan. That one instant map hack, just beep, done. Sees the starport, sees the shimmer on the tech lab, knows that he's going for cloak. Takes down a... Wow. He just takes that down with ease, too. One supply depot does get kind of midway canceled there, but... One Banshee does drop here from Zero, so Zero loses the Banshee. 6 SCVs do go down, 28 SCVs to 31. In favor of Zero at the moment. And it looks like we're in store for another really great TVT here. Vindicta is still heavily favored to take this series. However, Zero has been showing us some really great games. Another Banshee does come in and gets sniped almost immediately. I don't think he got a single SCV there. Not a single SCV. So, kind of wondering what happened there. It sounds like he just floated it in, and then Vindicta saw it, scanned it, and just took it out. So, well played there from Vindicta. Not taking too much damage from the cloaked Banshees from Zero. However, Zero is moving out here with these Marines and this tank force, and Vindicta's going to just bypass him on the right side. I don't think Zero knows that that's happening. I feel like he kind of knows. He is heading in that direction. He does spot the Hellion at the watchtower, but if he wants to do anything about it, I don't think he saw it. I think he had an idea that maybe there was something going on over there, but he did not see it. Vindicta comes in, and now he's going to start putting pressure on the natural of Zero. Meanwhile, Zero's also coming into the natural of Vindicta with these tanks and Marines. And Vindicta's just going to drive his tanks right up into the natural. Starts firing immediately at the SCVs. Same thing goes on the other side. Zero's going to siege these tanks up and start firing at Vindicta. Supply depots getting taken down. And both players are in a very similar situation now, where both of their naturals are pretty much forfeit at this moment. Vindicta just scanned Zero. He just wants to take a look at what he has in his main. Vindicta is going to start firing on his main. 18 SCVs, 22, and growing for Zero. Going down here. Meanwhile, Vindicta has held the attack that was coming into his main. While meanwhile, he's countering with this great attack over here. Zero is crumbling under the pressure. 33 SCVs have gone down. 35 supply to 69. And Vindicta may have already done the killing blow here. Does not lose his Raven. Pulls the Raven back. So good play there from Vindicta. Meanwhile, Zero is trying to send his command center over here. Probably just going to try to drop it when Vindicta is not paying attention. He sends it back to his natural. Zero is going to reset up here, but not before taking heavy losses on his economy. Meanwhile, Vindicta is sending a bunch of units here to meet with his main force outside the natural of Zero. 37 army supply to 18. This is definitely Vindicta's game to win at this moment. What is he going to do? Is he going to siege up over here next to the main? He did that previously in another game, and he kind of just lost everything there. Zero is moving out along the left side. I kind of feel like he thought there was something coming from the left, but no, Vindicta's coming from the south. More Marines being built here for Zero. No upgrades on the way for either player. Combat shields is about halfway down for Zero, so Zero will have his combat shields a lot faster than Vindicta. And he's building 2 more barracks. Vindicta is behind this. I feel like Vindicta is going to come and just pretty much win the game at this point. He throws down an auto turret. Gets focused down. Marines come in, forcing Vindicta to back off. Another tank going to rally here with Vindicta's main army. Pretty much making it to where Zero can't really mine very much from this natural expansion. Meanwhile, Vindicta on the other side, he's just loving life. Nothing really stopping him except for this small Marine drop up in the left that I did not see. It gets taken out pretty much easily with Vikings. SCVs get on top of those Marines, take them out. Not before losing 10 SCVs to that attack. Vindicta still ahead, 77 supply to 47. And if this command center goes down, so are Zero's hopes of winning this game. Third command center is coming down here for Vindicta. No third... Well, there is a third command center for Zero here, but he is not going to be dropping it down anytime soon, especially not with all this pressure Vindicta has been applying here onto Zero's natural expansion. Zero does come out, stems, and gets a tank. So, nice play there from Zero. Sorry, guys. Hit the wrong button. Income advantage here showing that it is in favor of Vindicta. So, really nice play there. Vindicta is so far ahead in almost every regard in this game. Not sure why I keep switching like that, but hey, I'm back in the game. Here we go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We are in our last match of the night, Vindicta versus Zero here in Code S round of 8. Zero is coming out here with the Marines in this tank, and he's going to put some pressure here onto Vindicta, but Vindicta, he's just been doing great all game. I'm pretty sure he's not going to have any issues defending this. In fact, Zero's just going to back up and turn around, meet up with more with his with more units here. He is streaming across the map. Meanwhile, Vindicta is sending a drop along the right side, so Vindicta is going to drop the main of Zero here momentarily. Zero does come out here and take the watchtower, so he does have decent vision of at least this side of the map for now, allowing him to put his units up in those medevacs, but I don't think he's going to get very far, considering there are sensor towers pretty much surrounding Vindicta's entire 3-base economy at this point. He may choose to go around the right side where there is no tower at this moment. He may be able to even stop one of these upgrades. There is one tank here, so it should be able to put some pressure here on Zero when he drops in. But Zero looks like he may be going for a double-pronged attack here. I think he's going to drop the natural, while simultaneously coming in here and hitting the third with this force. There are 3 Marines here from Vindicta, so he will see these medevacs as they move in. Actually, no, he moves them back just at the last second. There is some pressure being applied over here at Zero's base. So these 2 medevacs will come in here and drop right on top of these SCVs. No, he's actually just going to bypass it for now. Meanwhile, there are Marines and siege tanks shooting at this base over here. There's a refinery is going to drop. Marines are getting dropped in the main. And Zero's just doing massive damage right now. 12 SCVs going down. Yeah, Vindicta will clean this up. But not before doing massive damage to Vindicta. 12 SCVs going down. It's not really going to put him where he needs to be, considering Vindicta is still heavily ahead in this game. This will help, though. Zero is coming here on the third base. He is firing at the command center, forcing it to lift off and get out of there. So nice play from Zero. He's going to fall back to his tank. You know, just causing Vindicta to pull his army in that direction, throw his Marines into a tank fire. 19 more SCVs are going down, so Zero is clawing his way back into this game. Double drop coming out here from Zero. Meanwhile, this small little force over here to the left continues to put pressure onto the third base of Vindicta. Double drop, though, by Zero. It's going to come around the left side. Meanwhile, there's another Doom drop coming along the right side from Vindicta. Both dropships pretty much passing each other in the night. Not seeing each other. Vindicta is going to get in there with quite a larger drop. Zero is also going to get in there with a drop. He may decide to just drop the natural here. I'm not sure. He may just zoom into the main. However, in comes Vindicta with this massive drop. He's going to drop right here on top of the buildings. Tanks and Marines are now focusing down the barracks. Meanwhile, the drop over here in Vindicta's base is getting taken out. Zero loses pretty much everything for only 6 SCVs. Vindicta is continuing to put more and more pressure on the production here of Zero. Barracks goes down. Tank goes down. Forcing Zero to bring back his army. GG! And Vindicta takes it 3-1. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Looks like Code S will be on Sunday, so please, everyone, if you haven't already, please tune into that. And today's games have been absolutely phenomenal. We've had pretty much action-packed games the entire evening. Opening up with a ridiculous cheese on the first match, ending with a massive TVT on the final match. So, unfortunately, Patty Mac versus BioIce. Patty Mac did forfeit, so there won't be a fourth match tonight. BioIce will be moving on, so it will be Vindicta versus BioIce, and then Pili Pili versus Simper for the semifinals. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I am Morvox. I'm casting for Alpha X. Tomorrow I will be casting the Code A finals, so please tune in for that. It will be live. It will not be on replays. And then following, we will have the Code S finals on Sunday, and Beowulf will be casting that. So please check that out. Check out the StarCraft games coming up this weekend. Continue to watch DreamHack and support all the players and staff that you can. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Have a good evening.